Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Presley, and in this video today, I want to talk about and review Rings. Now, Rings is from 2017, and it is the sequel to The Ring. Samara, one of the most iconic horror icons of all time, one of my favorite killers in Dead by Daylight to play against. And yes, Rings was not that good. Now, I will say right off the bat, I checked the reviews for this film after I had watched it. So I didn't have any preconceived notions, and I never do. I try not to ever have any expectations before going into a film, but the reviews for this film were really, really bad. I was a little bit surprised because I didn't think the film was that awful. I obviously didn't think it was very good, and you're gonna see later on why I didn't think it was so good. But this film had like a 1.9 on Letterboxd, which I feel like for the score that I gave it, 1.9 is a little bit low. I was expecting to see maybe like a 2.4 or a 5, but Letterboxd was really harsh on it, and I was surprised to see that IMDb, who typically does review movies a little bit higher, also gave it like a 4.9 out of 10. So low scores all across the board. What did I think about it? I didn't think Rings was very good. I thought there were some interesting parts about it, and that's actually the stuff I want to talk about first. I think there were a couple really enjoyable scenes. There was some intrigue throughout it. I like the direction they were going towards the end of the film about trying to find the origin of Samara, of the Ring, and why she's so evil, what happened to her, why she's trying to send a message to the main character here. There were some creative scenes. I loved when the character was in the grave and she was being pulled down into the well, and then the ring was behind her. Cool stuff right there. I would love the vertical rain scene at the very beginning of the movie with Leonard from Big Bang Theory. And then there were a couple other scenes as well. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, nothing standing out too much, but there were some fun horror moments throughout here. Oh yes, like one where she does come out of the TV for the first time and kills the girl in the apartment. Spoilers, not really spoilers, but yeah, other than that, this movie felt like it had a lot of very dry drama. It didn't feel super scary at all. I didn't jump at all. I wasn't freaked out. The atmosphere wasn't super tense. It wasn't intense or anything. Overall, it just felt a little bit dull, felt a little bit dry, and the worst part about the film, the absolute worst part, besides the script, which was really bad, and I'll talk about that more in a moment, was the line delivery, especially from the main character. These actors didn't feel like they believed a single word they said. Julia, the main character, her line delivery was just completely atrocious. It felt like she was actually reading these off of the script for the very first time, and then they captured that take, put it in the film. Not good. The color grading in this movie is not too bad. It's nice and dark and contrasty, and I think it looks pretty good. Overall, I think the cinematography like kind of mixes between being pretty decent and not that great, pretty generic and boring, but the movie doesn't look horrible. But yes, what I want to talk about with the script is just how awful some of the writing decisions were. These characters do not talk like real human beings at all, and again, it just feels like they're kind of reading pages for the first time, then saying it. They're capturing it to footage, and it just doesn't look or feel like they rehearsed it all, or that there's any chemistry between the actors. Julia and her boyfriend, I forget his name, I think it's Holt, they didn't feel believable as a couple at all. There were just a lot of things throughout this film that I felt were very weird. Now, when I am talking about the story, I did think some of Rings was really well done. I loved diving into the backstory about the church and why this girl was thrown to the bottom of the well. What actually happened? Was she thrown? Was she abused? Who was she abused by? And things like that. Overall, yeah, the ending of this film isn't my favorite part, because the beginning of it, when we're learning about just the ring herself and like what the videotapes are about and the whole organization that Leonard from Big Bang Theory, he creates this whole organization where people come to him and they get somebody else to watch the tape so that they're safe from the 7 days curse. All of that was all kind of boring at the beginning of the movie. As we get towards the end and she moves to the small town, the main character, and she starts finding answers for the Ring's backstory, I thought that was the cool part of the film. That's where a lot of the intrigue came in. That's where a lot of the cool aspects of the film came in. I like Vincent D'Onofrio in here playing the blind preacher. I thought that was cool. There was a couple cool fight scenes in this creepy house at the end. So overall, without spoiling too much, I will say that some of the story was decently interesting, but most of it was pretty bland, pretty dry, and pretty uninteresting. Now, overall, yes, while this isn't the best film I've ever seen by a long shot, I didn't think it was as awful as a 1.9 on Letterboxd. I personally gave it a 2 stars out of 5. And I know that sounds weird. It's like, hey, you gave it actually a higher score than the Letterboxd. But yeah, typically, if I was to give a movie like a 2 or 2.5, on Letterboxd, it'd probably have like a 2.5 to 3, somewhere around there. So it felt weird seeing this movie reviewed so low. I enjoyed watching it, but I didn't actually enjoy the movie. Like, just the aspect of actually watching it was fun, but the movie itself, the quality wasn't really there. I thought a lot of it landed very flat for me. The characters felt very uninteresting, very boring, and there was not a lot of great atmosphere or scary moments. There's a couple nice scenes throughout, but in between those nice scenes is a lot of garbage filler, in my opinion. So that's why I did give it a 2 stars out of 5. Let me know in the comments down below if you have watched Rings already. If you have, what were your thoughts, what were your opinions, and most importantly, what was your rating? Again, I gave it a 2 stars out of 5. And let me know if you agree with my rating or not down in the comments below. And with that being said, thank you so very much for watching this review. My girlfriend and I are going to be watching a lot of Dead by Daylight killer movies. So the next one on our list at the time of this recording is going to be Alien. So stay tuned for more reviews. We have Hellraiser coming out in a couple days. But yes, thank you so very much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later.